WWE Super Showdown 2019 from King Abdullah International Stadium in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia is in the books, and I am up here to do a quick video on the main event. Now, most of you who have been following my past couple of videos know that I was really going to have to sit this one out. I am right smack dab in the middle of an extremely busy 72 hours at my job, and I figured that was perfect because I really don't have a whole lot of interest in WWE's business dealings with Saudi Arabia in the first place, and I would really like to skip this pay-per-view if possible, and my crazy work schedule allowed me to do that. However, I did say that if anything crazy happens or anything of significance happens, I would do my best to try to come up here and at least say something to you guys about it here on YouTube. So that's what I'm here to do now, and I'm really going to primarily focus on the main event of Super Showdown because it was very much talked about after the match, very controversial, very depressing type of match to watch, and it really made you kind of wonder about how long some of these guys are hanging on, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But first, as far as the Super Showdown card, I'm not really going to talk about it or give a full review of it, but I do want to say that my predictions, my half-assed predictions that I did a couple of days ago, were actually not half bad. I only got 2 matches wrong. I got Shane and Roman Reigns wrong, and I got the 50-man Battle Royal wrong. Other than that, I got all the matches right, and my primary concern, my main concern for this card, and all of Saudi Arabia events for that matter, is that we never see any title changes. And the only reason we saw one last time was because Roman Reigns got sick. But they changed gears and had no choice but to crown a champion at that show. Aside from that, that's the only time I ever want to see a title change hands in Saudi Arabia. So the one thing I wanted to see on this event is for Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston to both walk out of Saudi Arabia as champion. And man, they really filled you with doubt leading up to the show because this past week on Monday Night Raw, Brock Lesnar annihilated Seth Rollins with a steel chair and sent him to the hospital in an ambulance. And now Seth Rollins has to fly all the way across the world to defend his title against the head waiter at Applebee's, and he's injured. And you're going to have Brock Lesnar lurking around with that boombox ready to cash it in. So I was extremely nervous about Seth. So I was happy to see that after he won his match, he was able to fend off Brock Lesnar with the steel chair. And that happened so early on in the card that I was really concerned with Kofi's WWE title status, because do you mean to tell me they flew Brock Lesnar all the way across the world just to get his ass kicked with a steel chair and that's it? I suppose so, if they really want to drag this briefcase thing out any longer, and that's what they did, because Kofi also walked out with his title and Brock didn't cash in on him either. So, luckily, we got out of Saudi Arabia with our 2 world champions maintaining their title runs, and that's really the only thing I cared about on this event. I really didn't give a shit what happened in any other match. I just wanted to see championship title reigns remain intact. And I was happy to see that it did. Now that Brock keeps the briefcase, that's what I said. That's what I've been saying in my past couple of videos, that I think WWE wants to sell some of those t-shirts. They want Brock to dance around with that boombox briefcase some more and drag this out a little bit longer. Brock Lesnar himself seemed very surprised and excited when he learned he has a whole year to cash in this briefcase. I found it very hard to believe in storyline that he was going to cash this thing in 2 weeks later. Like I said, I got the Shane McMahon versus Roman Reigns match wrong. That one surprised me. We had the Usos defeating the Revival, Finn Balor defeating Andrade, Lars Sullivan defeating the Lucha House Party, Randy Orton defeating Triple H, Braun Strowman defeating Bobby Lashley, all of which I predicted right, and Mansoor winning the 50-man Battle Royal. He's the first ever Saudi Arabian signee in WWE. I believe he is in NXT right now. I really don't know anything about the guy, and it was funny when I was reading the results, I didn't really recognize his name. Then once I kind of pulled him up and looked at him, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen him before, but really wasn't aware truly of who he was. So that was a good moment for him. Right thing to do, right? Just like when Buddy Murphy won the Cruiserweight title back in Australia. Same type of thing here. They gave the kid the moment, and I'm happy for him. Congrats to him. But what I mainly want to talk about is this debacle and embarrassing main event that they gave to Saudi Arabia. Now, one thing I find funny, because I really find the whole relationship with Saudi Arabia very uncomfortable, very dirty, and it makes me feel slimy with everything going on there and all of the controversy, and, you know, we can talk for days about that. But I really think it's funny how foolish the Saudi royal family is. You know, WWE just kind of puts up this front, which is what I've been saying all along. I think these long overseas network shows should primarily just be glorified house shows. And WWE in the past few weeks on TV would not shut the fuck up about how this event is going to be equal to or greater than WrestleMania, the equivalent of WrestleMania or a WrestleMania caliber event. I mean, they kept wording that 5 or 6 different ways. It was so puke-inducing to hear that time and time again out of Michael Cole's dumb face. And when you look and see the way WWE promotes these events and the way they word their advertisements, they're basically just giving Saudi Arabia a really beautifully polished up house show. And that's all I want it to be. And I'm really happy to see that that was the case tonight. I'm actually wondering how long it's going to take before the royal family catches on and then starts demanding title changes. What if we wind up getting to that? Because there is so much money exchanging hands here that what if they start saying, hey, we want to see a title change? And they're starting to understand that WWE really at the end of the day is not giving them anything other than just a show. This is a bought and paid for show for one specific target demographic. And guess what? We ain't it. So I really have no interest in seeing these things. And I'm really glad. I feel refreshed, even though I'm up here talking about it now. I feel refreshed that I only watched about 9 minutes of this entire show, and that was the Undertaker and Goldberg match. So let's talk about that now. We're into this main event, much like last year when they did DX against the Brothers of Destruction. That was a horrific match, and I posed this question to you guys. Which match was worse? DX versus Brothers of Destruction or Goldberg versus The Undertaker? To me, they were both hideous, horrific, ugly, brutal matches. I don't even know. It's a toss-up to me. Maybe I'll give the nod to DX and Brothers of Destruction for the better match. I don't know. But this one here with Goldberg and Taker was just sad is really the only way to put it. It's just really, really sad and depressing. I'm thankful the match didn't go much longer than 9 minutes. I think it went about 9.5. So if this would have been a 20-minute match, imagine how bad our suffering would have been. So at least they went home when they needed to. They might have even wrapped up business a little bit early because Goldberg busted his head open. This thing was loaded with botches. And I said right up front from the moment this match was announced, I had no interest in it. I knew it was going to be horrible, and it was going to be a great example and a great illustration of why we never want to see The Undertaker versus Sting. It is just too late. And these guys are just too old. And, you know, here we go again with somebody coming back that kind of tarnishes the great last memory that we had of them. And I don't want this match with The Undertaker to be my last memory of Goldberg. And I don't want this match with Goldberg to be my last memory of The Undertaker. But at this point, I'd rather just put people like this out of their misery and just retire. I'm of the opinion and of the speculation that the reason that The Undertaker really didn't retire at WrestleMania 33 because there was a whole bunch of money to be made with these Saudi Arabia matches. His name was requested to have matches. WWE said, hey, you know, we'll pay you $1 million a pop if you come in here and do this. Who is going to say no to that? You know what I mean? So you can't really blame the guy necessarily. It's just he was such a beloved and iconic figure in wrestling, one of the greatest icons that has ever lived. And every day that he hangs on like this, you know, it just, to me, it just does more to diminish the amazing legacy that he already has. Nobody's had a legacy like him, and I hate to see it be ruined like this. And I said recently in one of my live streams that I had an idea for The Undertaker, that since he already kind of came back after WrestleMania 33 and had a couple more matches with John Cena and DX and guys like that, and he seems to be around here and there, at this point, since we've made it this far, you might as well go another year and a half and see if we can make it to Survivor Series 2020. 30-year anniversary of his debut in 1990 in WWE, and retire right there. Because WWE already pushed aside 2 of their world titles at WrestleMania 33 in order to give The Undertaker the main event match that was seemingly going to be his last. So you don't get to do it again at WrestleMania, Undertaker. It's GoodMicWork rules. I say no more WrestleMania main event retirement match for you. But we can do Survivor Series. We'll give you that one because that's where you debuted. And what a better show. What a better event to finally retire in peace and leave the wrestling business, at least leave in-ring competition on the 30th anniversary of the show that you debuted on. In my mind, I know a year and a half sounds very, very far away, and it is. But I think a year and a half from now really could potentially be only like 2 matches. Maybe, or 3. Maybe he does a couple of more Saudi Arabia shows and collects them big bucks And then when we get to Survivor Series a year from now, that'll be the end of The Undertaker. Just an idea. But at this point, how do you salvage Taker's career? That's why I have that 2020 idea, because how do you take this man now and do any sort of a retirement match or angle or anything? You know, just nothing feels special. This match was painful to watch. Him and Goldberg stumbling around that ring. Both guys hurt each other a lot. First of all, Goldberg hurt himself. The missed spear or shoulder tackle into the ring post, and he slammed his head just flush into it. Blood all the way across his face within just a couple of minutes of the match. A lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd. He was kind of knocked out. He was kind of out on his feet. Very rubber-legged, you know, extremely gassed looking both guys were. He hit Undertaker with a couple of spears. Undertaker hit Goldberg with a tombstone, which did not look that great either. Goldberg kicked out of it, but I think he might have been a little bit hurt on that. And then Goldberg tried to go for a jackhammer on the Undertaker and damn near killed the dead man. That's right. Go back and watch the replay. Absolutely horrific. How would you like to be paralyzed in Saudi Arabia? I am so grateful that both of these guys survived this match. I am so grateful that they're both okay. I hope the Undertaker does not have any ill effects from that botched jackhammer, which was really a brainbuster, which was really a suplex. It looked like shit. Absolute shit. I mean, damn, it was just uncomfortable. I'm glad I didn't watch this match live. My skin was crawling. And then after, finally, we get one of the worst looking choke slams I've ever seen, even worse than the choke slam that The Undertaker delivered to Hulk Hogan at Judgment Day 2002. I think that was when he won the WWE title. That was a better choke slam than what he gave Goldberg. And then the referee counted the 1, 2, 3. I'll tell you this, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Owen Hart had a more convincing finish at SummerSlam 1997 than Goldberg and Taker did here at Super Showdown. I'm dead fucking serious, man. I want to give credit and props and well wishes to Bill Goldberg, who immediately after the match tweeted out that he knocked himself out and that he loves his fans, but he let them down. And he said to everybody that finds pleasure in this, I hope you're happy. Matt Riddle has also had an issue with Goldberg. Goldberg blocked Matt Riddle on Twitter, and Matt released a couple of videos during Super Showdown trolling and making fun of Bill Goldberg. So I don't know if they were maybe trying to tease a match somewhere down the line. I think Matt Riddle would give Goldberg a hell of a lot better match than The Undertaker did. That was just an ugly matchup right from the start. Those two guys were not going to mesh at their age and their physical condition. But you put Goldberg in there with somebody a little bit younger, faster, quicker, can move around. Hey, there might be a chance. So maybe we can get that match in the future, and Goldberg has one more chance to rectify this horrific comeback and retire in style. And Matt Riddle can either maybe retire Bill Goldberg and or maybe Brock Lesnar one day in the future too. But anyway, just wanted to put my 2 cents in on the Super Showdown main event between Goldberg and Undertaker. It was brutal. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you did watch the whole show straight through and you would like to share your opinions down below, feel free to do that as well. And I will catch you guys in a couple of days for my WWE Raw watch-along on Monday night. Y'all be good. I'll catch you then. Talk to you soon. Peace.